want to welcome you all to our session today where we are learning about capability statements. And before I introduce our facilitator for today, I just want to confirm, can you all see my screen? I'll take the silence to say yes, hopefully so. Perfect, thank you. And so before we jump in, my name is Dr. Kitiana Lowe, and I'm the Director of Programs and Events here at WEBEC ORV. And before we jump into our program today, I always like to take a moment to introduce our team. Our new President and CEO is Dr. Frederica Singletary. Our fractional CFO is Jackie Jordan. Our fractional CHRO is LaCosta Moore. Our Senior Director of Marketing, Communications, and Engagement is Courtney Martin. Our certification team, who you all are very familiar with, is led by our Director of Certification and Outreach, Colleen Rudisill, and our Certification Manager, Robbie Moore. And then we also have our certification specialist, Anita Steele, at the very end there. And then on the corporate side, we have our corporate engagement manager, Devin Davis, and our administrative assistant, Morgan McDonald. And so we are a mighty team working diligently to do all things that you all need for programs, events, as well as certification for our WBEs and assisting our corporates with all that they need. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all of our members of Champion Circle. These are members who have committed to some of our Champion Circle level sponsorship opportunities this year. If you do not see your logo on here and you are interested in learning more about our Champion Circle, you can get that information online as well as a WBE. You can reach out to Robbie Moore, or if you are corporate, you can reach out to Devin and she will assist you. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce our presenter today, Karen Weevil. She is the Associate Director at Central Ohio for Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University. And Karen, I know that you are a little bit under weather, so it's fine that you do not come off camera. But if you would like to go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself, we would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I apologize for my voice sounding nasally, but I've been dealing with the virus for a couple of weeks now. But welcome, everybody. I am with the Ohio Apex Accelerator Program. I'm the Central Ohio Associate Director covering the area in the greater Columbus area. We cover about 20 counties in Central Ohio. The Apex Accelerator Program is a free service where we're grant funded from the Department of Defense's Office Small Business Programs, the state of Ohio. For those of us in a majority of Ohio, also by Ohio University, which means all of our services are no cost for any businesses that's interested in expanding their market footprint through selling to government agencies at all levels, federal, state, and local.
Wonderful. Welcome. Give me just one more second to get my screen share back up, Karen.
Not a problem.
I was on the PDF and I have the actual version and my mouse is dying on me. So I'm clicking it on and off until I can go and grab another battery. I know you all have been there.
Yes.
They do not give any upfront notice that they are going to die. They just shut
And
down on
I
us.
swear there's a stress level because they know that when you're going to need it, that's when they shut down.
Exactly.
That's my theory anyway. The same with
Exactly. Why did it shut down before this session started? I would have had plenty of time to add
Yeah,
another mouse or add another battery, and then
it's a conspiracy.
it is definitely, and then my computer is running slow on me as well, so it's a double conspiracy here. But give me
We
just a
will mutter
second.
through, Dr. K. We will mutter through.
Yes, we will. Come on, computer, be my friend. This is where we need like hold music or something like that.
You know, if you have issues, I can pull up the presentation on my end and share if you would prefer.
Let me try to reload it one more time.
Do you mind if while we're waiting for you to get this, maybe we could have people introduce themselves and their
That would actually be
businesses?
great. Yes.
I'd love to hear more about who I'm talking to.
Karen, if you want to go through, if you can see like the list of people, if you want to just call them in order, and I'm going
I
to
sure
grab a
can.
battery really quickly.
I'm going to look in the order that they appear on my screen. And the first one is Kathy
Perfect.
Waddell. Would you,
Hi, I'm
Hi,
Kathy Waddell,
Kathy.
Cummins Facility Services in Marion, Ohio. How are you guys?
Good. Marion, Ohio is a lovely city. I've been there. I cover the area.
Oh, Good.
Yeah,
Yep. Thanks for doing this webinar. It's gonna be great. We're excited for it.
great. I look forward to hearing more about you. And Kate Ripley is my next one I have on my screen.
Yes, with Kenneth Murdoch's Mechanical out of Smyrna, Georgia.
Georgia. Wow, I bet you're warmer there than we are here in Ohio.
Just a scotch. Actually, I'm technically office out of Dallas, Texas. So yeah, it's nice and warm here today.
Yeah, well, I think we're supposed to get to a balmy 50 today, so I'm really excited about that.
That's
Next one I see on my screen is Ya. Is it Ya?
Yes, it's Ya. So my name is Ya Star, and I am also in Smyrna, Georgia, and will be close to hitting 70 degrees today.
Oh,
And
rub it in,
I
rub
am
it in.
and I'm recently certified, so this is going to be really great for me. So thank you.
Great. And the next person I have on my screen is Derek Hamilton.
Hello.
Hi.
Name is Derek Hamilton with Lear Promos, promotional marketing company, and I am in sunny Columbus, Ohio.
There you go. And you're in the balmy weather, just like me.
Right.
Yeah. Next person is Dominique Ingram on my list.
Hello, nice to meet everyone. My name is Dominique Ingram. I'm based out of Georgia as well, in the Alpharetta area. I'm president with Problem to Solution, and we help with things like project management, staffing for project management, and agile transformations.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. Next person I have going across is Rhonda Peterson.
Hi there. I'm Rhonda Peterson. I am an executive coach and the creator of the Real Life CEO Ohio Collaborator. And I'm also the president of NAWBO Columbus. So it's good to be with you today.
Great to meet you. Okay, next person I have going across is Christine Garcia.
Hi, I'm trying to undo everything. Start the video. Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Garcia. I'm the owner and manager of Hearth Parks, truck parking company here in Columbus, Ohio.
Nice to meet you. Okay, next person I have going across is Emmy Jeffries.
Hi there. I'm also in Columbus. I'm so excited. This is the first event that I've been on where there's people from the actual city that I'm in. So this is great. I am an interior designer. I founded Damewood Designs. It's a design studio focused on the blend of psychology and interior design. Kind of focus on small businesses a lot, but we also do commercial and residential.
Nice to meet you, Emmy. And the next person I have is Ashley Lowe Simmons. Ashley, are you there? All right, or not. Oh, she'll be here in a few moments. Is there anybody else that I didn't call on that I missed somehow in my screen?
I think that's everyone. And Mike, I've changed my battery and my screen is working for me.
Woohoo!
So thank you all for your flexibility and your patience. And now we can jump right in and learn about capability statements.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody again. It's nice to have you here. I hope we have to have a nice discussion maybe at the end with your questions. But today I'm going to be talking about creating an effective capability statement, what it is and how you use it in your government marketing efforts. Next slide. So first is our definition of what is a capability statement. Maybe we can have a show of hands. Has anybody heard of a capability statement before?
Yes.
Okay. So if for those of you who have not, a capability statement is we're going to talk about what the uses are of a capability statement. What are the important things that you need to have in this statement, and what you can do to make sure that your capability statement stands out from your competition when you're marketing yourself to government buyers and prime contractors in the government space. Next slide. So first, what is that capability statement? A capability statement, I say, think of it as a print elevator speech. It serves as your door opener to introduce your business to government buyers or prime contractors. A lot of times when agencies or prime contractors are doing market research, they are going to ask you for a capability statement to see if you are the type of business that can help them achieve their goals. And oftentimes, when you're looking at solicitations from the government, they're going to ask you for a copy of your capability statement. It can either be very general or very specific, but you're going to see it asked for a lot in solicitations. Next slide. So there are various elements of a capability statement. These are the sections you need to have. First of all, we want to make sure you do call it a capability statement. And then you're going to have some key sections. You're going to have a core competency section, and we recommend that you call these sections these terms because it's what the government buyers are used to seeing. Just makes it easier for them to find the information they need to find about your business. You're going to have a past performance section, a differentiator section, and then you're going to provide some general company data about your firm. Next slide. So, first, we're going to talk about how you're going to do this. You're going to call it a capability statement in your header. But also in your header, we want you to make sure you include your company logo. You're creating that market differentiation that makes you stand out. They recognize your company by incorporating your logo. You want to make it match your corporate branding to create that cohesive marketing statement when you're marketing your business. You do it in your regular approach. You do the same thing with your government. You're going to want it match your corporate logos, your fonts, everything that you utilize on your business cards, any other flyers, your website. Make sure you create that cohesive marketing approach and it's reflected in your capability statement. And we always want to make sure, in addition to your logo, you include your company name, your address, and phone number. Core competency section. This is the section of your capability statement where you explain what you do. What are the goods or services that you're wanting to offer to the government buyers or the prime contractors? So again, you call it core competencies. You're going to list what your company does. Is it a product? Is it a service? You want to focus when you're talking about what your company does on what you do best. There are a lot of companies out there that do a lot of different things. You want to focus on truly where you have your best competitive advantage in the government space and focus on that's what you're going to offer to them. Now, different government buyers buy different things. So let's say you offer products and services, you might have different buyers for that in the government space. So you want to make sure you're targeting those core companies, your goods or services, to the type of buyer that you're talking to. When you're talking about what you want to offer, you want to be very specific, brief, and to the point, focusing on the keywords of the goods and services that you want to offer. We don't recommend using paragraphs. I know I used to be a writer in the marketing space, and I always hated that my prose was the best. And I hated hearing use bullet points, but I'm telling you, use bullet points. You could think about bolding the keywords, but make it easy, easy, easy for them to find out what are the products and services that you are interested in offering to them. Next slide. Past performance is where you're going to talk about who you've done it for. So first you're listing what you do. The past performance is like your reference section. It's proof that you can do what you say you're offering, that you've done it before. So you're going to call it past performance because that's government speak for your reference section. You're going to provide a brief description of the type of work that you've done for other clients. And these can be commercial clients. It doesn't have to necessarily be government. You're going to want to include the name of the client and the contact information because, again, this is also used as references. So you want to make sure that you give a contact person at that past performance at that company that they can reach out to find out if you've done a good job for them. You're going to want to include the contracts that in the past performance that correspond with what you're offering, the goods and services that you're offering. And if your work does not in your past performance pertain to the opportunity or what you happen to market to them for, then don't include it because they're not going to care. They want to see the past performance showing you can do what you say you're offering and that you want to do for them in your core competency section. Next slide. So here I provided some examples on how you can write it up. You don't absolutely have to use it, but these are good rules of thumb when you're talking about your past performance. So past performance as a prime means you selling it directly to the government or the prime contractor or the commercial client. What you did directly, you sold directly to that firm. This is what you did. You can talk about the size of the contract, a little descriptor, and then provide, if it was a government contract, you can put in the government contract number and then give the reference number information again, their name, title, phone number, email. That's you working as a prime. Next slide. Now let's see you were working as a subcontractor. So it was the other company that had the contract with the company or the government agency, and they awarded part of the contract to you. You can still count it as past performance. You're just going to offer up that you are that you were a subcontractor for this particular contract, for this particular agency or prime, commercial firm. Again, outlining the part of the work that you did for this project, that you did, if you were a construction firm, that you did the carpentry, and so on. You're going to explain what you did as part of the work that you did for that firm. Next slide. Now, if you've never had contracts, if you are a newer company and you're just getting started, but you have tons of experience in your work life, you can talk about that in your past performance. Again, proof you can do what you say can do. You're just going to let them know that you did it as an employee of that company. And that is, and this is another example of how you would do it. Just spell it out that you did it as an employee and not as the prime or as the sub. Excuse me. Next slide. So again, what don't you use? If the PROS project doesn't relate to the targeted agency's need, if you're responding to something specific, or if it's not something that, if you're talking to a service buyer and you're offering project, don't include it. And if the reference is no longer available on your past performance contract, then don't list it. There's nothing worse than them reaching out to a dead email, dead phone number, trying to get information from somebody who's no longer at the agency or firm. Next slide. Now, differentiators section. Differentiators is why should they buy this from you? And this is the one section that I find most of the small businesses I have struggle with, just because they're really, really good at what they do, but they sometimes feel awkward that they're bragging about themselves, or they just don't know how to communicate it. But this section is very, very important because this is where you're going to make yourself stand out from all the other companies out there that offer the same types of goods and services you do. Excuse me. So you're going to, in this section, you're going to talk about all the unique features and benefits of your products or your brands or your services that set it apart from your competition. You're going to have done that SWOT analysis to help you get there. And again, you're trying to communicate why should they buy it from you versus who they're currently buying it from. Or if it's new, who all the other people that are pitching to them, why should they buy it from you? That's why I call this your print elevator pitch. Next slide. So here's some different thinking points that I've given to my clients to help you think about if you don't know how to communicate this. There are some things that can get you down that thinking path. So first one I say, who's your biggest customer? Why do they keep coming back to you? There's a reason. Know that. That is a differentiator. Understanding why your company is the best choice for the needs for that opportunity or agency. What is it about your services or products that make you stand out from the rest? I like to talk about, have you won awards? Are you the top sales? Do you have the most brands they can choose from? You or your employees have outstanding certifications in that certain area that you're providing? Do your products last longer? Are they cheaper? Are they better quality? And if it's a service business, or even a product business, if your business is located closer to the targeted buyer, you might be able to go there in a quicker manner than someone's trying to sell it from out of state, or your shipping costs are lower because you're right there in the neighborhood. So there's different ways for you to think about, and this is just a little smattering of things to think about when you're coming up with these. It's not all inclusive, but just ways for you to start thinking about it if you struggle with this. Next slide. When you're writing your differentiators, again, as a writer, I hated this, but you want to make it short and to the point, use bullet points. Make sure your differentiators are focused on the needs of the opportunity or buyer. Highlight the benefits of your company or your products or your services to that customers. And if you're making a statement, provide specifics. Don't use generalities that anyone can say. Next slide. So here's what not to use, and I see these all the time. And it's great that you're WBE certified with WeBank or you're WOSB certified with the federal government, but that's in your company data. That is not a differentiator. Making a generic statement that you're best in class, like I say before, you're an industry leader. The one I see a lot is providing outstanding customer service. Prove it that you're quality committed. So, are you best in class? Have you won awards for your product or service? Are you industry leader? Are you number one in sales for the particular products, highest customer service ratings? If you have outstanding customer service, again, tying in what makes your customer service outstanding. If you can't quantify it, then don't list it. Quality committed, anyone can say that too, right? But if you have a quality assurance plan in place or quality standards that you have written down in a policy that you work across your company and you respect all your employees and there's an inspection process you go through, talk about that, be specific on your quality commitment. And again, those are just some examples of ones that I see a lot that people use that they don't provide backing data for. Next slide. Now, here's your company data section. Here's where your socioeconomic certifications come in. But there's also other things and codes that the government uses. If you're reaching out to a federal buying agency, that's where your WSB certification comes in, or your EDWSB certification, or your 8A. You're going to list the ones that are pertinent to the agency you're reaching out to. If it's federal, they care about, do you have a UEID and a CAGE code? You have to be registered for the federal government to apply for the certifications. You have to be registered, showing that you have these codes in your capability statement. Proves that you're registered and ready to do business with them. However, if you're reaching out to the state of Ohio or the local government agency, they don't care. They don't use those certifications. They don't use the UEID and the CAGE code. State of Ohio uses different codes. They use UNSPSC codes. Other local government agencies use different codes as well, like NIGP codes. So you want to make sure you do your research when you're putting together your capability statement, that you include the company data that is pertinent to your audience. And that even includes the prime. If you're going and reaching out to a prime to be a subcontractor on federal work, include the federal stuff that matters. Or if you're going after for a state of Ohio work, or Georgia, since we have some Georgia folks. And I apologize, I'm not familiar with the state of Georgia certifications or what codes the state of Georgia utilizes, but make sure you correlate what you've got. Now, the DBE is one certification that goes across the country. That's a state certification, but is applied for multiple states. Although I know that certification is in a state of flux at the moment. So again, research what codes and certifications are pertinent to the audience and your agency that you're creating this capability statement for. Next slide. Okay, now the company data is where you're going to tell them a little bit of a history on your government. You're going to just summarize on a little bit about the history of your company, how stable you are. You could talk about how your strong financial position, how many years you've been in business. You could talk about how many employees you have. If you're a manufacturing facility, you're going to talk about the size of your manufacturing facility and maybe the types of equipment or anything, but very, very brief. And then always, always, always put contact information. Who are you assigning in your company to be the person who's going to be responsible for your government contracting efforts? The government buyers, the prime contractors at any level want someone's name, direct email address, direct phone number, if available, so they can have a name to attach who they want to talk to. And it's surprising how many people I know that forget to do this. It's really important. And like I said, if you have a direct, that's better than a general. Nothing's worse, as you guys probably know, going through a phone tree that's auto-generated, trying to get to the person that you want to talk to. Next slide. So now I'm going to talk to you about appearances. I talked before about making it match your corporate marketing efforts, your business cards, any brochures that you already have, your website, making that cohesive marketing approach. And creating the capability statement, because we're trying to keep it really brief and easy to read, you want to make sure that you're making it really clean. Utilizing bullet points, bolding your headers like differentiators, core competencies, but you don't want to overwhelm them with too many colors and fonts. Make sure your background doesn't fight with your body text. And I would say try printing out your capability statement in grayscale. Because a lot of the buyers, if you send it to them electronically and they go to print it out, if it's printing and they can't read your text on your background when it's printed out in black and white or grayscale, then they're not going to be able to read your company information. Again, making sure your copy and the message that you're trying to deliver to them is very crisp and to the point. Make sure you use those section headers that we recommend, and making sure it's highly readable. Include your company logo. Again, do the test run on the paper. You're going to want to print it out. Like we have our Ohio Business Matchmaker coming up at the end of April down in Dayton. If you're coming to that, you're going to want this printed out on some nice paper. You don't need to go around the top. I've been to some events where people went to the bother of laminating it. You don't need to do that. Just on nice paper that's going to stand up to handing it out to lots of people. But you're also going to want to create it and save it as a PDF. You can email this to folks as a follow-up. Emailing it as a PDF is going to make sure it goes through their spam blockers. Word documents can have macros and all sorts of things or that can get blocked by government agencies and prevent it from going through. PDFs usually have a file size small enough and a file size capacity and a format that these government people are able to accept and will get through their filters. So again, trying it out in print and in PDF form is very important. Next slide. Helpful hints. Number one, and coming up with your past performance section. You're going to see this a lot, not just as a recommendation in your capability statement, but in government land, oftentimes they're going to ask you for your past performance examples. So what I like to recommend your clients, and this is a strategy that I used myself, was every time I completed a contract or a project, I would write what I called a success story. But this is where you're going to write what you did for that client, who you did it for, what you did, the size of the work, what were the benefits, what did your work achieve for that client. And writing it as you complete each project means it's really fresh in your mind. So when you see something that you're wanting to, incorporate into your capability statement, that you want to tailor that to the person you're meeting with, you've got that library of examples there where it was fresh in your mind. Or when you're responding to a government solicitation and they're asking for 3 past performance examples, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel using your memory. You've got a library of those past performance examples. I like to also recommend, typically, you're going to see them asking, going back in history of your past performance, no more than 3 years, a maximum of 5. The most common I see is 3 years. So keeping that library up to date, you can organize it on your computer by project type, by date, keeping that refreshed and in your memory really helps you a lot in tailoring your capability statement and responding to those proposals. It's a real time saver. It was very, very helpful to me in my past life. Um, and before you put your capability statement, do the research on that agency, on the prime contractor, and make sure you're incorporating, again, the core competencies, the differentiators, and those past performance examples that relate to who you're marketing to. Don't waste their time by talking about something that they aren't interested in buying or they don't typically buy. Do that research up front because you don't want to waste their time and you don't want to waste your own time on going after work that you don't have a chance of receiving. Next slide. Now, this is something that I've been running into lately with my clients, and it's folks using AI. Especially when it comes to government, I want to give you a few hints on using it. If you're using especially a free version of AI, you have to be very careful when you're asking it to help you write your capability statement, if that's what you're doing, about including any internal business information. AI can be hacked. So if it's not any information that you want out there publicly, think twice about using AI to help you put it into the AI as a prompt on putting this together for you. Some things you can ask it to do safely or ask it to create a capability statement template. You can use it to do search on publicly available data, but if you're asking it, again, for that private data or something you utilize a paid for service, I recommend not using AI. You can ask for general writing advice and principles, but again, I advise not using it to write it for you because you want it to be your voice, not the AI's voice. And when you're talking about government, especially federal government, they got some very specific rules on cybersecurity requirements. They are now anymore to see certain things in the government space, they're asking you to log in to be able to see it. So if you're uploading some information for a federal solicitation into AI and it's not publicly available, I advise on not doing it. Just be careful on how you use it. It can be a great tool and time saver, but it can also put you at risk. So be careful on using it. Next slide. So again, here's how we help you. We're free. We are grant funded again. We do this through free one-on-one client appointments and group training events. We partner all the time here with the lovely folks at Women's Business Enterprise Council. They're fantastic people to work with. We also provide our own group trainings and webinars that are all free of cost because of all that grant funding that we receive. Next slide. This is my contact information. If you're in my Central Ohio area, like the folks in Columbus and Marion, we're more than happy to work with you. If you're not in our area, we can direct you to the Apex Accelerator closest to you. I'm kind of done with the general. I've thrown a lot at you. I know, all at once. That's why I'd like to maybe take this opportunity if you all have some questions. One thing I didn't mention, and I forgot, I apologize, Dr. K. One thing that I do like to advise when you're creating a capability statement is if you can, try to keep it on one page. Simply because government buyers receive a lot of these. And if you put really important information on the second page and they don't see it on page one, they may just go next. So I like to see it all up front. And you can, if there's more information you want to include to enhance what you're offering, put that, make sure it's like an enhancement on page 2, but not the key information on page 2. Make sure you've got your codes, that you're registered as a vendor. You're putting in there that this is what you're offering. Here's who you've done it for. Here are some basic differentiators. And if you want to expound upon it, put that on page 2. But make sure you try to get that key information on page 1 so they can see. Again, it's your elevator pitch. They want to see that important information right up front. So I should have said that when I was talking about your layout and design, and I apologize.
No worries at all. No
I
worries at
plead
all.
the
Thank you so
congestion.
much, Karen. Yes, blame that on the sickness. Not a problem at all. Thank you so much for all that you shared. One of the things that I don't recall if Karen mentioned, I know she talked about if you're in her area, you can reach out to her. If you're not in her area, she can connect you with who you need to be reaching out to. One of the other services that she also is always willing to do is she's willing to review your current capability statement and provide you with some feedback. If you say, here's what I have, here's what I've been using, can you please review this and let me know what areas I need to tweak or change and things of that nature. And so that's always a really great opportunity. Hopefully all of you already have a capability statement, then you'll be able to leverage that. But if you are just getting started and don't have one yet, you will receive a copy of this recording as well as the PowerPoint deck that was shared today. And so you'll have all of that information available at your fingertips to kind of go through and make your own little checklist of all of the pieces that you need to have in your capability statement. Before we move on, we do want to pause and ask, are there any questions at all?
Don't be shy.
I have a
No.
question.
Yes.
This is Dominique from out in Georgia, and I found you you guys out on YouTube, by the way. So you're doing a great job with social
Thank
media.
you. Thank you.
My question is, what is it that I guess, what is it that I think an experienced person, because I've worked and partnered with Booz Allen in different firms, like in the past in my employer history. So I'm working to try to make sure that I can funnel things through my own firm. But what are some gap areas in the capability statement that are so common, but most people just don't think about it? Does anybody have any common mistakes that people generally make?
Well, I could tell you what I see. I say one big one is forgetting to put the contact information down on who they should reach out to at your company. It is surprising how many folks forget to do that. Another thing I see is those generalized differentiator statements. I see that all the time. And again, I like to point out, don't say you have outstanding customer service unless you can back it. By having that backing proof that you're an outstanding company is extremely important. And then also making sure that you are utilizing the correct codes that those government buyers utilize at the government agency that you're reaching out to. I've seen a lot of folks put NAICS codes and they're sending it to a state buyer in Ohio, and the state buyers don't use NAICS codes. So, and if you have a problem, reach out to your Apex Accelerator and we'll help you through all that.
That's so good. Thank you, Karen. And thank you, Dominique, for asking that question.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Got a quiet group today, Karen.
Yeah. And I do have, if no one does have a capability, like as Dr. K said, I am more than willing to look at your capability statement. And if you do not have one, I do have a template that I can email to you. Just feel free to email me and I'll go ahead and send this is the one I give to my clients. It kind of is in print form, so a lot of the points that I talk to here. So just shoot me an email that you'd like it, and then I will email it to you. But again, it just talks in print form some of the points I bring up in this presentation.
Karen, we can also include that along with the recap email that goes out as
Yeah,
well.
I can email it to you, Dr. K. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yep, we can do that. So we
That's
will
easy. I'll
include
send
that
it
in
to
that
you.
email. Perfect. Perfect. So that will be another one of the goodies that you all will receive when you get that recap email. Today is Tuesday. I'd say you should have it by Thursday, probably at the very latest. So you'll receive that in your email. It's always a really great place to start. So Christine will make sure we get that to you there.
Great.
Any other questions?
One more, if it's okay.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Please.
So I know that I've won different things in the past just from giving general experience of what I've done. Would you say specifying certain experience with different vendors, well, I'll say different employers, like if there's a supply chain for one area and then there's another employer that's really high tech related, would you say it's fair to just put things on there only for them? or should they see some of the problems that you've solved with other industries as well?
I would say if it relates. So, if the problem that you solve for a particular industry can be a problem that is across the board, like say, it's a transportation related, a logistics problem. That's common across different types of product types. Then you can talk about how you're a logistics problem solver. But if the problem that you solve was very specific to a high-tech industry, I would only include that information. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes clients don't know what their problems are. So I was like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, I do that a lot
Enforce
with
that.
people who do leadership training, but sometimes, especially like let's say you're working with some high tech industry folks, they have a very special, at least my experience, and I hope to sound not to sound terrible, but sometimes people in the tech industry and engineering industry have a very special issue in leadership development. So if you can be very, very specific on working with that industry, it's going to be more helpful than a generalized, I help with leadership development.
That helps. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. Well, let me share my screen again as we get ready to wrap up. The first thing that I want to do, of course, is definitely thank Karen, as always, for your time and your talent that you share with Webec ORV effortlessly and always. And so definitely very appreciative of that. In regards to this survey, this QR code that you see on the screen, if you are not watching this from your phone and have the ability to grab your cell phone and scan this QR code, we just ask that you fill out this brief survey to give us some additional feedback regarding our session. That helps us with this session as well as the other sessions that I plan to make sure that we're providing content that's really going to be beneficial to you. If you happen to be watching this from your phone or just don't have the ability right now to do this survey, that's not a problem. In that recap email, you will receive a link to the same survey. So it'll be a link to this survey. So all I say is that whether you fill it out now or whether you fill it out later, either one is fine. Just please definitely take just about 2 minutes. It's not very, very long at all. And fill that survey out for us. And then I will remiss as the director of programs and events if I did not talk about our upcoming events. So these are the ones that we have coming up the rest of February and the beginning part of March. I'll highlight just a few of them. Our coffee break is March 4th. Our coffee breaks are a new series that we're offering this year on a variety of different topics. And so it's a really great opportunity to bring your coffee, your tea, your water, your whatever it is that you're drinking that morning and join us. It's the first Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. If you scan this QR code, it's going to take you to our event page and you can get detailed information about all of our events there, as well as you can go ahead and register for our events there. For our certified WBEs who are on the call, we do have Doing Business with KeyBank coming up on March 11th. KeyBank is one of our corporate members, and our Doing Business series is an opportunity to come and, as I'd like to say, sit at the feet of our corporate members. They share about who they are, why they're committed to working with businesses like yours, as well as how to navigate maybe any portals that they may have or what opportunities they may have coming down the pike. So it's a really great opportunity to come in a small group environment and talk with our corporate members. And then for those who may be in or near the Cleveland area, I know there's several folks in Columbus. So anybody who wants to drive that hour and a half or some change up to Cleveland on March 18th, we will have our first WB Connect of the year. Our WB Connects are a completely free opportunity for our WBEs to get together, both certified and non-certified WBEs, to network and get to know each other. And then also, so I'll tell you the March 18th, 19th, and the 20th are very busy. But March 19th, we have our newly certified onboarding. That evening, we will actually have the Prelude Party, which is our kickoff party for our Bold and Brilliant event, which is on March 20th. Bold and Brilliant is our event for women of color and allies. It is going to be in Columbus, Ohio this year. And like I said, you can click the link. You can't click the link because it's on your screen. You can scan that link. There'll also be a direct link in the recap email that will take you to our events calendar, and you are more than welcome to register for all of our events there. And then just to make sure you have these future dates on your calendar, On May the 13th is our Women of Distinction Awards Luncheon. That's going to be in Mason, Ohio, outside of Cincinnati. And then Catch the Wave is our big annual conference that we do every year. And that is August 24th through 25th in Louisville, Kentucky. So make sure that you have all of those dates on your calendars. I will pause there before we wrap up and ask, are there any additional questions at all? All right, hearing none, I would like to say thank you all for joining us today and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.